The space program is vital to Florida's economy and our nation's future. Here's a look at two of the ways the district uses the space program to get its students excited about math and science.
Kelly will be going on board the landing vehicle of the USS Challenger. Stand by. Stand by, Captain Kelly going on board.
We were actually flying a mission to the moon. This is one of the new initiatives from the Bush administration, is to return to the moon and get ourselves a colony going up there. And some of the kids were experiencing what it might be like once we do get that colony established.
You know if it goes into CR1 or CR2. Are you there?
We pretty much simulate between the mission control and the space lab different missions that real astronauts perform, like going to the moon and studying the Earth. And we pretty much simulate a catastrophe that happened, and we have to fix that catastrophe before time ends.
The missions that they do are so, they really are designed very well for the kids, and yet they really capture the essence of what the activity on board both the station as well as what's going on in the Mission Control Center. I think they're extremely well designed.
Working together is a really big thing at Challenger, is learning to work together and be able to read the books and know what you're doing without, asking questions is fine, but when you read the book, it's really easy.
I put it in the bucket.
No, you bring it to the guidebook. You read your book right here. That's not the book. It says, use the robot arm to grip filter A.
The whole facility is all about math, science, technology, and engineering. And during this facility, we're using mathematics to calculate triangulation of where the spacecraft is as it heads over to the moon. We're using chemistry over at life support to keep track of the pH values of the water. We're using engineering in the probe room to put together a new Highland probe to be launched to the surface to tell us what is a good landing site.
Well, with the robots, they are testing radiation levels. They are testing how heavy different liquids are to see if they match up to different things. And if one thing is maybe too heavy, then there might be a possibility that it can contain explosive material. I think this might help us in science and math classes because it'll get us to think more logically, and in math you need to think very logically to solve word problems, and it'll teach us how to do scientific things like studying rocks will help us in science, and studying water will help us in science as well.
America is not graduating nearly enough engineers. In China, depending on who you listen to, they're graduating 300,000 a year. We're graduating 60,000. Lockheed Martin alone, of our 140,000 employees, about 100,000 are eligible for retirement in the next 10 years. How are we going to fill that pipeline just for Lockheed Martin? Much less thinking about all of the companies out there. Hopefully this is one of the places where we'll get that inspiration to the kids to say, I could do that.
And this could get them interested in being astronauts or going to the moon, or shoot, by the time they get out there, they could be going to Mars, living on Mars.
Answer the questions in your composition notebook. Here's the 3 questions while I get everybody settled in. How does gravity make your life easier or harder? And I want you to answer both. How does it make it easier? How does it make it harder? And how does the study of gravity on Earth help you better understand the relationships in the universe, which is kind of summarizing what we've done all week. Well, the Zero-G program is actually an opportunity for, in what we were involved with, is educators to be able to experience weightlessness and then be able to take simple things we do in the classroom and perhaps do some experiments with it and bring it back to our schools and be able to explain that value to them.
I've done a lot of things in traveling around the world, and I was out doing another research project this summer with NOAA, but all those things can be repeated in other ways. Doing the Zero-G thing is something that I can say, honestly, unless they ask me to go again, there's nothing like it. It was just amazing. first day of school, I wore the little flight suit and hooked the pictures up on the overhead for the kids as they walked in. It was kind of a hook to get them excited about science, because by 9th grade most kids don't really understand or enjoy science anymore. So when they saw their goofy teacher up there in his flight suit acting like an idiot, it kind of excited them, and now they're all saying, when can we do it? Is there a way that we can do it as students? And I have to kind of encourage them to continue as scientists, as little mini scientists in the classroom, to get to the point where they could do that on their own as part of scientific research with the university or with NASA in the future.
It's not going there. Are you learning something? Yeah, cool. Many times their experience to this point has not been particularly hands-on. I have many students walking in the door saying, I don't like science. So if I can engage them in hands-on activities and visuals and communicating, and the other piece was very good. We had multiple scientists here today.
You think it'll go down? Why? Because what pulls something down? Gravity.
This class does make me more interested in science because we get hands-on activities. We learn from not just in books, we learn hands-on with experiments and everything.
I try to encourage the kids to think scientifically in every aspect of their lives, from the iPods that they have that they can fit in their little pocket, and the cell phones, and all these things are getting smaller and smaller and better. It's because people get excited about science and say, what can I do to make this world this much better place, scientifically speaking? So just being an example to them of hey, this is real, guys, you can go out there and do it yourself.
The coolest part of today's class was learning your weight on different planets, because I thought you would get heavier on all the planets except for you get actually later on some, and then some you get heavier. Because it just depends on the planet.
I hope they'll take away the fact that science is interconnected, that things that we do in the classroom are really connected to things that are being done someplace else, like space as an example. And then why? And be able to answer those questions as to why. And then take the experience that we had and say, okay, gravity, what exactly does that mean to us? How important is that understanding of gravity? Because I think kids tend to just breeze over the things we take for granted.
This is the first time I've had a chance to teach with my mother. We were at the same school at Ed White for 2 years, and I avoided collaboration with her because she was the mother figure. But I've learned so much from her, and she's an amazing teacher. So getting the chance to come in here and share our experience with her kids was amazing for me, because I get to see what she does in the classroom. She tells me all these stories, and we both got to come together and excite the kids together. So it was kind of like, I guess, as me being a guest, the kids were looking forward to having something new. And being able to work with my mother as a professional is very interesting and challenging at times, but interesting.
I think that students need to start looking at their future and start thinking about possibilities of future. And the more that we can show them some things in the future, the more that maybe at this level they can start thinking, I can.
Robert E. Lee High School speaks out when we come back.